DayZ and Icarus game designer Dean Hall called out Valve for their use of gambling mechanics recently. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only game news show brave enough to actually completely agree with Dean Hall.
Yeah, Valve's kind of getting away with murder, or with illegal high-stakes gambling, I guess is the actual term for it. But the real question is, will anyone care? People like Valve so much that they tend to turn a blind eye to things like this. But it's still it's a serious issue and it's worth talking about.
Before we get into the news, Lawrence, we reported on this and we report on this over the years, over and over and over. Nobody watches these videos because people don't actually care. So we'll find out if they actually care this time around.
In an interview with Eurogamer, Dean Hall said he was, quote, honestly disgusted with games that use gambling mechanics to generate revenue, saying that, quote, they have absolutely no place.
He explicitly singled out Valve here, saying, quote, it's something I think Valve does not get anywhere near enough criticism about.
Yeah, it's the power of managing PR, I guess. Hall then issued a challenge to Valve and any other developer that uses similar techniques to generate the revenue.
He said, if they think these things are not a problem, then make the data available to universities who are crying out to study this stuff.
Valve's digital marketplace made the headlines recently thanks to a change to Counter-Strike 2's skin commodity market.
Yeah, billions of dollars were lost. Valve introduced a way for players to trade up less common skins for more rare ones, shattering the prospective value of those digital items.
This is one of those Eve Empire level economics things happening inside of a game. It's awesome. There's Price Empire, this sort of a Counter-Strike skin pricing utility. They value the Counter-Strike 2 cosmetic market at $2.5 billion at the time of writing, and that's down from over $6 billion before the change.
Oh man, I'm ruined. I didn't have any. I'm just kidding. Joke. Hall expressed his contempt for Valve's profiteering during a conversation about games monetization, wherein Hall lamented the ubiquity of gambling and DLC.
Yeah, specifically, Hall's latest game, titled Icarus, switched from a free-to-play model to a DLC model just to keep the lights on, keep the money flowing.
Yeah, Hall said, quote, I agree with a lot of the people who get mad about the DLC approach. I don't really like the Icarus approach, but we needed it to survive.
Yeah, we know a thing or two about that being on the YouTube. Hall also lamented the perception that monetized games generate loads of money for its developers.
Yeah, he said, quote, I actually think a lot of gamers don't realize that 99% of devs out there are sitting there going, I don't like this. So who's winning? Because it's sure not us. There's a lot of game studios like mine that are just holding on and trying to keep making the games we want to make, but not necessarily happy with how they monetize.
Yeah, I understand those dynamics as well. It's so interesting to hear the exact same sentiment, because I have a lot of those personal feelings, working on YouTube. You got to make certain concessions just to stand out. I'm starting to think, there's just a lot of commonality between any highly competitive job, which is to say any job where you're producing a product that a lot of other people are producing at the same time. So whenever you're pitting an overabundance of product against an overabundance of product, you have to start doing things you don't want to do to stick out. And on YouTube, that just means pretty salacious, aggressive, negative-leaning headlines. People just gravitate towards that. If you're making a video game, probably means using some monetization techniques you find distasteful, because people actually pay the money when they're used, and it sucks, but that's the state of things.
Yeah, that's the commoditization of creative things like pop music and movies and television. It's all the same. I mean, it really is. We live in a capitalistic society, and that's the way that this works. I know I'm, pulling out the society word, but that's just the way it goes, though. And again, you don't have to consume it. You really don't. That's the number one rule of this kind of interesting problem we all have, is that we don't have to consume any of these things. These are all optional things: video games, movies, television, YouTube videos, pop music. So you don't have to. So to me, that's sort of the thing that I keep coming back to. And Lawrence, I know you've got points about this, but the whole thing is gross. It is gross to monetize all of this stuff. But like you're going to say, that's what adults can do, whatever they choose.
They can. But like you're kind of getting to, there's another angle here. And yeah, we're fully kind of talking about the implications of this stuff now. The problem is the children, the sweet babies. Yeah, adults can do whatever they want with their money. That includes buying and selling digital products. Whatever, man. You do you. You stay happy. But there is research showing that when children are exposed to gambling mechanics, that it can influence their behavior. It can. There's research again from the early 2000s, mid 2000s, showing that when children are exposed, they tend to gamble more frequently, they tend to gamble more severely, and they have more severe medical and psychiatric problems later in life. And this is like a studied thing. This isn't just adults looking at kids playing violent video games and being like, oh, I see school shooters. Because the math isn't necessarily there on that side of it. But there is research here, and it is pointing a certain way. But yeah, and that's I think why Hall is also calling for these companies to make their data available so that researchers can come in and give it a clean bill of health, which they probably would not.
And that's the real problem, isn't it? Is the kids. And truly, video games, they reach out to everybody. They reach out to 60, 70-year-olds now, and they go all the way back down to 5-year-olds. They're all on their iPads all the time, right? So that's the real problem. And since we actually do have the data to support that maybe we don't have gambling mechanics in video games because it influences kids, possibly maybe we should scale back a little bit. I mean, I'm glad that there are some countries that are just completely outlawing it. And I feel like that's probably a good step. I'm also seeing a lot of this in the world at large, which is sports betting. A lot of people have been a lot of people are talking about sports betting and how it's literally affecting sports and the way they're played, what's actually happening in the leagues. They're affecting players. So that's another thing that, obviously, this episode's sponsored by DraftKings, but like we're not sponsored by DraftKings. But that's the thing, is that now ESPN, I think ESPN has ESPN Bet or some shit. Like it is crazy how like deep those tendrils are now into almost everything, whether it's video games or sports or prediction markets are becoming even bigger. So just be careful out there.
Yeah. I think the problem is it's got to be, and we've talked about this before, for real meaningful change to happen, there has to be a critical mass of people that care about a subject long enough for anything to be done about it, or really for even a politician to acknowledge it, to talk about it, to commission studies on it. And people's eyeballs are everywhere else but that these days. And certainly in the United States, at least, this is not a very regulation-heavy economy unless you, I don't know, run a TV commercial that makes the president feel bad. Then all of a sudden you bet some federal action's coming down on you. Yeah, otherwise, as long as you kiss the ring, you can do whatever you want these days. Which makes it a bit of a problem because, like I mentioned before, Valve is pretty good about keeping their mouths shut. They just shut up. They give people cheap games, and people love them for it. So it's going to take a while for people to get mad enough at Valve to care about any of these things. Which is a bummer for me, because where they're at as a company now, they only make games that lean into their digital marketplace, with the notable exception of Half-Life Alyx, which was exceptional. But you've got like Deadlock, Dota 2, Artifact. Artifact was the most obvious digital marketplace game. People, accordingly, were not that happy about it. So that's kind of interesting. I thought it would still go over pretty well. But yeah, it's clear that their entire company now, kind of like you were talking about sports betting starting to change the system from within just because of the money flow. I feel like it's the same with Valve. They're not going to make any game that doesn't establish a new multi-billion-dollar gray market of digital goods, because they collect revenue on all the keys that get sold and all the trades that happen. So the additional market benefits that come from having those gray market off Steam real money trading sites brings a lot of viewership to Counter-Strike tournaments, brings a lot of activity to the game, even though it's not pure. But it's the same as sports betting. People are watching the game not because they're actively interested in the team, but because they got $20,000 riding on the outcome. But you know what? The leagues get more viewership, the ad rates go up, and everybody wins as long as a certain blind eye gets turned to certain activities. So, yeah, the regulation's not going to come from within. And at this point, I'm not, like, as long as the Steam sales keep happening, I don't think people are going to get mad enough at Valve to insist that anything is done.
What you're talking about is interesting, because you're right. Everybody makes money. Everyone's happy. Blah blah blah. We all, hey, we got fistfuls of cash. But what is the toll on society? I'm going to say it again. What is the toll on society? And that's actually what those studies are about. Those studies are how they affect kids, how they affect us and our brains, and like what's happening to us, and we're like you said, the prediction market. What we're worried about all the time is like how much money we have riding on whether or not the president's going to drop a tariff on China today. Like those sorts of things are not good for us long term. Usually, most of the time. I don't know. This is all anecdotal. There are real studies that will tell you whether or not that kind of stuff is good or bad for a human. But I think we could kind of agree that the more gambling we all have to deal with or do or whatever we're all doing, it's probably not good for us. It's probably not good for it's especially not good for people that have addictive personalities. So, well, I mean, that's as far as I'll go there. So again, just be careful. And we preach a lot of, speak with your wallet on this show. And I think that really is what it comes down to. And the Valve is in the sweetest spot imaginable. They really haven't screwed up yet. And I don't know when they're going to.
Yeah, speak with your wallet. I agree with that. I think accordingly, I do not let myself get invested in any games of service game. Not to the point where I feel like I want to buy skins or anything. Man, Overwatch got me once. And after a while, I realized that was the whole point. We're fighting back the darkness a little bit on this show, not only with our sunny dispositions, but with free games. That's right. Psych Games is on your side yet again. This is a bit of a hot drop here. 911 Operators, free on Steam, provided you claim it before October 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific. That gives you maybe 18 hours, depending on when this episode goes up. So go and grab it. And thank you for watching. You just earned an Inside Games loot box.
Oh,
yeah,
loot box.
But you got to leave a $10 super chat to find out what's in it.
Oh, come on. You got me with that Valve.
It's yours. You already got it, but you got to unlock it.
No. That's a that's a joke. We make the show for the love of the game, obviously, and of course, we need to make sure that it's our job too. So we do get compensated by YouTube ads and direct ads, and you guys. So thank you very much for watching, and consider subscribing to the channel. You could do a hype if you want. There's little hypes on YouTube mobile now. That will actually help our videos on some random hype list. So please do.
There's like a weird leaderboard out there, but we're gamers. We love hitting buttons. We love finding buttons, and yeah, I think it's mobile only. You got to swipe left on the comments a little bit. It's weird. We also have a Patreon, because of course we do. You can find all of our content posted there for free, plus a daily spicy meme from my dank meme sack. I have a folder that's just gathering cobwebs, and I just toss memes in there as I come across them on the internet during my many travels, many roads walked on these tubes of the internet. So there's a lot of dank shit in there, and I post one every day. So check it out, free memes for you. We'd also like to shout out some patrons that support the show directly. And they haven't once tried to scam us out of our CS2 knife skins. So that's really nice. Gav, Caleb Clark, Namehogger, and BB Prime, thank you very much for not sliding into those Steam DMs.
Yeah, and here's some more patrons that have never accidentally flashbanged their own team. I've done that so much. Matt Bogenberger, Wesley Mullins, Hunter Reed, and Pablo Garcia. Thanks for not doing that, because that really screws up the entire round.
During those 3 seconds, I'm free.